So when we get to the question and answer portion of the session, those questions and answers will be recorded, which is a good thing because it's going to help anyone who's watching the recording gain better information and insights based on your questions. But we just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. So we're going to go over the agenda. We're going to give you a little bit of an overview about the portal, what it is, why it's changing, how it's changing, what your role is. We're going to give you a live demonstration. I am joined by Wade Gale and Tawhid Ali at the Bank of New York Mellon, and they're going to give a live demonstration in the portal of how you respond to what's called a registration invitation so you can establish an account, how to log on to the portal, the landing page called My Dashboard, and then they're going to show you how to access the business applications that you already access to do business with MyGinnieMae. And then we're going to give you a few more tips, talk to you about things that you can do on your own without having to contact an administrator, and then talk to you about this thing called Oracle Mobile Authenticator, which is going to make your life a little bit easier. We'll direct you to plenty of resources, additional training information, and user manuals, and then we will open it up for a question and answer. And we strongly encourage you to join us in asking any possible question you might have. There is no question that we are not afraid to cover, so please, as it relates to MyGinnieMae and the applications on the portal, its onboarding effort, make sure that you ask any question you might have. We are happy to answer and here as a resource. So let's get started. So what is MyGinnieMae? MyGinnieMae is a portal that houses our existing business applications.
Hey, Letitia, real quick.
Yeah.
You're breaking up a little bit. Am I coming through all right? You might want to maybe redial.
Yes, you are coming through okay. I am not.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Maybe if you're coming over to PC, maybe just try redialing in.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. I will be right back with you.
Yep. One moment, folks. Just want to get that cleared up. Hey, Robin, I saw in the chat that you said both presenters are breaking up. Am I coming through all right, or no either? Feel free to send me a note in the chat. Yeah, for those, it sounds like most people are hearing everything fine. If it is breaking up for you, maybe try redialing in. I posted the phone dial-in info if you want to use that, or maybe try closing your Zoom window and opening that again. Should clear everything out. So.
Okay, Ian, I'm back with you guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. So let's see where we were at. We are actually talking about what is MyGinnieMae. So MyGinnieMae is a portal that houses the existing GinnieMae legacy systems of GMAP 1.0 and GinnieNet. It houses our modernized applications like the multifamily pool delivery module and soon the single family pooling delivery module. And it has resources that boost efficiency for our business partners. The portal is really all about security. We have to meet federal security requirements to make sure that all of our business transactions are transmitted securely, stored securely, and in order to do that, we have to migrate to a more secure platform, and that is MyGinnieMae. It also provides a single point of entry for you. So all of those legacy systems and modernized applications that you'll need to access, you'll do through one single entry point, and that's MyGinnieMae. So provides for a better user experience. So I am going to move right on into the next slide and give you a little bit more information about a visual about MyGinnieMae. So again, like I said, MyGinnieMae is a portal that houses our existing systems and our modernized applications. So basically what you're getting here is a house. MyGinnieMae is a house that has a front door with a serious lock on it. So when you use your username and your password and what is called a one-time PIN, you'll get through that deadbolt of the front door of MyGinnieMae. Once you get through the front door, you then have access to all of the rooms that you were supposed to be accessing. So if you are an organization administrator in our systems, you'll have access to the access management console room. If you're a multifamily issuer in our program, you will have access to the multifamily pool delivery module. If you currently access GMAP 1.0 and GinnieNet, you will be able to get into those rooms in the MyGinnieMae portal without having to log in with a separate login ID or user or password. So again, MyGinnieMae offers a front door, a deadbolt on the front door for you to get into the house. And then you can freely walk through all of the rooms that you have access to without having to separately unlock those doors. Next slide. Okay, so why are we making the change? As I mentioned a moment ago, this is really about security, folks. We have to adhere to federal security requirements, and that's what we're doing. We're introducing MyGinnieMae in order to meet those security requirements. What it provides is single sign-on. As I mentioned, you have one username and one password to get to all of the systems and applications that you need to access to do business with GinnieMae. It also introduces multi-factor authentication. This is something that you've encountered in your personal lives, probably at work as well. What happens after you enter your username and your password is that it'll prompt you to enter what's called a one-time PIN. This is a code that can be delivered either to your email or to a smart device. You take that code and enter it into the box, and then you can get into the portal. So we'll talk a little bit later about signing up for Oracle Mobile Authenticator, but that is how you would have that one-time PIN delivered to a smart device. Functional roles is something else that comes with the introduction of MyGinnieMae. No longer do you need to know each and every system and application that you need access to do business with GinnieMae. What you need to know is what your business functions are. What is the role that you play in your organization? And based on that role, you will be automatically provided the access to the systems that you need to complete those business functions. No one user should have more access than is required by their business function. And so the administrators in your organizations are responsible for making sure that you have the access that matches your role. If you have multiple functions, maybe you do both pooling and reporting on behalf of your organization, you are able to have access to both of those functional roles, so don't worry about that. But you will not be able to have access to every functional role because no one does everything. It is a red flag to our operations administrators at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae. And so if an administrator attempts to give you every functional role, it probably will not be approved, and you'll need to work with GinnieMae customer support in order to rectify that situation. There is also an invitation model, and what that means is there's no longer a paper form for you to complete in order to get access to GinnieMae systems. It's simply a request to your organization administrator who initiates a workflow through MyGinnieMae to give you access to the system. We'll talk about that workflow in just a bit. Next slide. So how is it changing? So GMAP 1.0 and GinnieNet versus the new MyGinnieMae modernized environment. In our legacy systems, GinnieMae admins at the Bank of New York Mellon had to provide access to users. And in MyGinnieMae, that's not quite the same. Actually, it's organization administrators at each of your organizations that provide access to end users. Now, Organization administrators are the folks that were formerly known as security officers and enrollment administrators in our legacy system. So they're now known as organization administrators or org admins, and they're the ones that provide and control account access for users in the portal. Issuers in our legacy systems provided access to their sub-servicers. That's no longer the case. Sub-servicers now have their own organization administrators who manage the employees at their organization. Issuers no longer have to provide those employees that access. Now, there is a function behind the scenes based on the 11707 that connects sub-servicers to the issuers that they sub-service for. So there's nothing for you to do. If you're an issuer that has a sub-servicer, if you're a sub-servicer, please note that there's no additional step there for you. We take care of that behind the scenes. In our legacy environment, you went directly to the legacy systems and those URLs in order to log in. MyGinnieMae, you go to MyGinnieMae to access all of those systems. In our legacy environment, you only needed a username and a password to get in. In MyGinnieMae, because it is more secure, it also requires a one-time PIN. In our legacy environment, your access was identified by the applications you needed to access. And as we spoke a moment ago, in MyGinnieMae, this is they're role-based. So it's based on your business function in your organization. You no longer have to keep track of the different applications that you need to access. And in our legacy systems, you had a separate username and password for each system. In MyGinnieMae, that's not the case. You have one username and one password. And that username is also the same when you're utilizing your RSA token. So when you get to legacy systems, if you are going through MyGinnieMae and you are a token holder, it may prompt you for an MGM ID. That's your username, which is your corporate email address. So you don't have to keep track of an I number or a GMAP account, your legacy account information. You don't have to worry about any of that anymore. Whenever it asks you for a username, it is referring to your email address, which is your username in MyGinnieMae. In our legacy systems, password and profile management activities were performed by GinnieMae admins at the Bank of New York Mellon. That's not true anymore in MyGinnieMae. In MyGinnieMae, a lot of this stuff can be completed self-service. If you've forgotten your password or you need to reset your password, as an end user, you have an opportunity to do that on your own. And if you can't manage that function on your own, you work with the organization administrators at your organization to manage those items. You no longer need to contact GinnieMae customer support to assist. Next slide. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the roles and responsibilities. This training is designed for end users. If you look at the bottom of the screen, an end user is the various types of GinnieMae employees that are GinnieMae employees, business partners, and contractors who require access to the portal to do business functions. So if you need to do pooling activities, reporting activities, those sorts of things, you are considered an end user in the portal. If you go up to the next line, the organization administrators are the privileged users. They're the admins in the portal at each of your organizations that were formerly known as security officers and enrollment administrators. They're responsible for providing you an account in MyGinnieMae if you're an end user. They're responsible for providing you a functional role if you are an end user. They're the ones that are responsible for helping to reset your password and all sorts of other functions that they can complete for the end users in their organization. There is a separation of duties, so there are multiple organization administrators required in order to manage account access for end users, but that is something we'll talk a little bit more about later. We go up to the next line, the operations administrator. Those are the admins at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae and at GinnieMae who are responsible for the entire system. So their job is to keep everything moving. And they do that by providing support and instruction to the organization administrators about how to manage end user accounts. They don't actually complete those activities on behalf of the organization administrators, though. And they also have a very important step in establishing an account and providing access called finalization. And we'll talk about that when we get to the workflow. Next slide. So functional roles, as I mentioned, users are provided access based on their business activities and responsibilities. This is called functional roles. We actually conducted a few sessions with our issuers in order to identify what functional roles exist across the different organizations. And this is what this is how we came up with functional roles. And this chart is just a sample of a few functional roles. If you go to the modernization page on the GinnieMae website, there is a complete listing of functional roles. It's also an appendix in the user manual. So you can see all of the possible functional roles and the systems that they provide access to. But again, as a user of our system, it's more important that you understand your function and the description, the role description, than anything else, so that you can work with the organization administrators at your organization to provide you the proper functional role. So you can see here for single family, there are a couple of examples listed. One of them is loan delivery pooling basic user. This is the person that does the data entry in the system for pooling activities. And they have the access to all of the systems that they need just by simply providing them that role. The next one is a single family loan delivery pooling authorized signer. This is the person who's on the HUD 11702 that has an RSA token to actually sign or submit pools. This person gets all of the functions that a basic user gets, plus the additional functions of an authorized signer in order to submit pools. This user only needs the authorized signer functional role because all of the functions below that come with it. So again, as I mentioned before, there's no one in our system who would require every single functional role. They've been designed in such a way that there's no need for overlap. So please make sure that as you're working with your organization administrators, you're very clear about what functions you conduct in the system so that they can assign the proper functional role accordingly. Okay, next slide. All right, here's the onboarding workflow, and this will help hopefully bring some things into focus for you regarding all these different players in the process. So we have what's called a registration workflow. This is a request and approval process that establishes an account in MyGinnieMae. Once an account is established, you move into what's called the access workflow. That's a request and approval process that actually assigns a functional role to a user. Together, these are called the onboarding workflow, and here's how it goes. If you start on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that you need an organization administrator to send an email invitation to an end user. This registration invitation email, once received, is completed. There's a form, you get a link in an email that takes you to an electronic form to fill out some information. If you're a token holder, that would be a great time to enter your token information, or if it's already entered, validate to make sure that it's correct. You submit that form as an end user, and it goes back to the organization administrators. Now, a second organization administrator, meaning not the person who requested the access, they're not the person who sent the registration invitation. A second organization administrator would then reject or approve that request. If there's a problem with the form or something was completed incorrectly, they may reject it. However, if everything looks cool and kosher and clean, they're going to pass it right on through and approve that registration invitation. Then that organization administrator will immediately proceed to requesting a functional role or functional roles for that particular user. Once that org admin has made that request, another org admin, meaning not the one who requested the functional roles, will go in, they will review that request and either reject or approve that request for functional roles. If they see that the incorrect functional roles have been requested, they may reject it, and then it would start over with the request for functional roles. But most likely, everything's going to be clean, cool, kosher, and they're going to pass it right on through to the operations administrator at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae. And that operations administrator is going to do what's called finalization. It's the final acknowledgement or final approval of that request for you to receive your functional role. After all of those steps are complete, the end user will receive a welcome email noting that they have an account in MyGinnieMae, followed by a functional role request email that will inform them that they have been assigned functional roles. Once those emails have been received, the end user can then log into MyGinnieMae and access the business applications that they have access to according to the assigned functional role. Okay, next slide. I am so happy to turn this over to Wade Gale and Tawheed Ali at the Bank of New York Mellon so they can actually show you how this works in MyGinnieMae. Wade, Tawheed?
Thank you, Letitia. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tawheed Ali from Bank of New York Mellon, and today I'll be assisting with the demo. As we start, I'll give you an overview on how to register once an invitation email has been sent to you by your administrator. We'll also go over how to log in to the system and also how to navigate through MyGinnieMae. So on the screen, you can see the email that was sent to you by your after your administrator initiated the registration. You will see the email with the subject header, "Welcome to MyGinnieMae registration." And here with the email, you will see the invitation link and the steps to completing it. You will then click on the link, and there are times where the link will not automatically open the browser for you, so you will have to copy and paste it to your browser. Now, please note, when you do this, the copy paste is exactly how it is on the email. And also note that the link is only valid for 24 hours. So as soon as you receive the registration link, please go ahead and complete it. So we'll first copy the link over to a browser. And once you successfully enter the link and navigate to the registration form, you will see the name of the registration, new user registration form, and with the information below. Now you will see your first name, middle name, and last name grayed out. This is because your administrator registered the account with this information. So this is a good time for you to check your name, check the spelling if everything is correct. If not, please contact your administrator right away, and they will send you another registration with the corrected information. Now, if everything is correct, you will then go ahead and enter your title. And from there, you will enter your work phone number. And you also have the option to enter your mobile phone number, which is an optional field. From there, you will enter your password and confirm your password. Now, this will be the same password you'll be using to enter and log into MyGinnieMae. Now, once you have entered your password and confirmed it, you will then have the option to enter your token information. Here, you will select yes or no. If you do have one, you will click yes and enter your 9-digit serial number. And if not, you will select no. Once you do that, you will then agree to the terms and condition and accept to the privacy policy and click yes, agree. And accept by clicking yes. Now, once you're satisfied with all the information you've entered, and you can then go ahead and click finish. Now, the registration is waiting for approval. This will then go to your administrator for them to approve and assign you the functional role we talked about earlier. And once everything is completed, you will then receive an email with the subject header, "Welcome to MyGinnieMae." And over on that email, you will have the instruction on how to log in to MyGinnieMae. So we'll go ahead and navigate to MyGinnieMae and log in with the email and the password we just saw Wade enter on the system. So you'll enter MyGinnieMae.gov, and here for username you will enter your email address. And the password. And click login. And apologies, we'll try this again. We'll just go ahead to MyGinnieMae and enter our credential again. Okay, perfect. So after
one thing, it's everyone on the phone. It's Wade Gale entering this stuff. It's never going to be right the first time, but it gives you an idea what happens in your space. So I'm the perfect person to demonstrate this. So it's all yours.
Thank you, Wade. So after we successfully log in using our email and our password, you will then be on the multi-factor authentication page. This is where you will enter your one-time PIN. Now, you will have the option to enter your PIN, receive your PIN through your email, or with the new Oracle Mobile Authenticator, you will have the option to receive your one-time PIN through your mobile or smart device. So with this, we'll go ahead and select the mobile authenticator and click OK. Now the app will produce a 6-digit PIN that you will enter, and it does refresh every 30 seconds. And if you have not registered with the mobile authenticator, the authenticator instruction is on the page, as you can see with the link, as well as on the welcome email. The instruction link is there for you to follow and register. So with that in mind, we'll enter our one-time PIN and click Login.
I did it.
Yes, and we have landed successfully. We will generally land on MyGinnieMae portal because this is a test environment. There are times the system behaves differently, but we'll now go to the My Dash. So here you can see when you enter your one-time PIN, this is the page we will enter. And if it's your first time entering the system, please note you are required to select your home organization. And you do this by clicking under your name. And once you click, you will then have a drop-down with your issuer ID. And you will select that. And once you do, the page will refresh and you will see the information that we currently see on the system now. Here you will have your banner that you see on this screen and the carousel, which will rotate to give you crucial information from the system and other necessary details below. For example, your pool data, or we have other widgets with information specific to you and your needs. Over here, we will also have the option to single sign on to other business applications. And again, this is based on your role in your organization. So if you do have access to GinnieNet, you will click on Tools, and from the drop-down, you will have the option to click on GinnieNet. And once you click on GinnieNet, you will be taken to GinnieNet page. And the same goes for GMAP1 application. So if you are to, say, do reporting, you can click on RFS, and it'll single sign you on to GMAP1 to the appropriate application. And that is a quick overview of the system. I'll now hand it over to Letitia to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Tauheed and Wade.
No, I think it's more thank you, Tauheed. Wade kind of messed up a couple times, but that's expected.
We know, you're a dangerous driver. It's okay. Okay, we're moving back over to the training presentation. Hang in there, folks. It's almost time for questions. Okay, so a few tips before you guys get started. The first one is do not bookmark the login page. The login page is the screen where you enter your username and password. Do not bookmark that page. It does create some problems with your cache and your cookies and causes the page not to load properly at times. It is much better for you to bookmark the public landing page at my.ginniemae.gov. There's no www, it's just my.ginniemae.gov. That will place you at the public landing page where you'll have a banner that'll give you messages about what's happening in the portal. And at the top right side of the screen, there is a button that says login, and then that will take you to the login page. Please, just to avoid unnecessary phone calls and heartache, do not bookmark the login page. The other thing you need to know is that MyGinnieMae can be accessed using Chrome, Internet Explorer, or Firefox. Chrome is the preferred browser for accessing MyGinnieMae. However, there are some legacy functions that require Internet Explorer. So if you are working in GMAP or GinnieNet and you find that a button is not popping up, I know curtailments is one of them. It could be that you're not working in the browser that it likes, which is Internet Explorer, and you may need to change browsers. So just kind of keep those sorts of things in mind. If things aren't working properly, kind of the bear that we're dealing with while we're still in a legacy environment, but also have a modernized system. So as we continue to modernize and we place more and more modernized applications on the portal, you'll have fewer and fewer of those issues, but it is something to note as you're navigating your work today. The other thing that you must know, this is an extremely important one, very, 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 very important. If you went to sleep on me, please wake up right now. Disable your pop-up blocker. It does not matter what web browser you are working in. You must disable your pop-up blocker. The portal will not work properly if you have your pop-up blocker enabled. So please make sure that you have disabled the pop-up blocker in your web browser in order to make sure that you have efficient and proper functionality in MyGinnieMae. Next slide. Okay, so I want to go back to some of the things that you as an end user are able to do on your own. You are able now to reset your password, or if you have forgotten your password, get a new password sent to you. These are functions that you can complete when you log into the portal, where once you've gotten to the login screen, underneath it, if you've forgotten your password, you can select the forgot password link and manage those steps on your own. If your password is expiring and you need to establish a new password, which you will have to do every 90 days, you can reset your password on your own. And I do want to stop right there to say, the portal does require that you establish a new password and log in every 90 days. The system is set up to begin sending you reminders at day 81, and it will remind you every day until you do it or your account, the password expires. Do not let your account go 90 days without activity, and here is why. When we talked about that workflow where it takes 2 admins and finalization in order to assign you functional roles, when your account goes 90 days inactive, your account is disabled and functional roles are removed. What that means is if you for some reason urgently need to access the portal, you will not be able to do so. You will have to find 2 organization administrators and an operations administrator to reestablish your access and assign your functional roles. You don't want to do that in an urgent situation. So please make sure that you are managing your account access by logging in to the portal every 90 days. You will be prompted to do so when it's time to reset your password. Please make sure you are paying attention and you are doing that with due diligence. You are also able to register or deregister for the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. And we'll talk a little bit about that. The Oracle Mobile Authenticator is an app that you can install on a smart device to generate a PIN or a code that you can enter when it's time for you to enter your OTP or one-time PIN. I strongly encourage you to register for that app. It delivers the PIN much more efficiently than email. Now, every time you log into the portal, as Wade and Tauhid demonstrated, you will have the option of whether you want that PIN sent to your email or sent to your smart device. So you can change your mind at any time when you're logging in terms of where you want to receive that PIN. But I can tell you that email, there is often problems with firewalls at your individual organizations that can slow down the delivery of that email. It is much more efficient and painless to use the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. You can install it on a personal device if that is easier for you, but I do want to make sure that you know that that option is available. If you install Oracle Mobile Authenticator on a device and later decide that you would rather have it on a different device, you can only have it on one device at a time, you would need to deregister the Oracle Mobile Authenticator, and that is something that you can complete on your own without the assistance of an admin. You're also able to update certain account attributes. If your job title, phone number, mobile phone number, if any of those pieces of information change, you can actually update that information in MyGinnieMae all on your own. You do not need anyone to assist you with that. Now, if you need help with any other account access issues, please note where all the stars are on this chart. They are with the organization administrator. If you are an end user of the portal that is accustomed to contacting GinnieMae customer support at the Bank of New York Mellon to help you with your account access issues, that is no longer the case. They are not able to assist you as an end user with any of those functions. The only star in the operations administrator column is finalization. So you will need to get familiar with your formerly known security officer and enrollment administrator, currently known as organization administrators, as they are the ones that are going to be able to directly assist you with many of your account management functions. Next slide. This is about the Oracle Mobile Authenticator, and I already talked quite a bit about this. Again, where you used to only have to enter a username and password, you now have to also enter a one-time PIN. You can choose to have that PIN sent to you via email. I strongly encourage you to register for the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. You do have to enter a one-time PIN every time you log in, and getting that PIN delivered to a smart device is much more efficient. There are instructions on how to register with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. This presentation will also be posted, or is also posted, on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. You can get to that information there, but you will find that when you log into the portal, these instructions are made easily available to you. On the left-hand side of the screen, when you log in, there is a link that will take you to the OMA, Oracle Mobile Authenticator, registration instructions. And that is actually probably the easiest way to get to that information. Next slide. Okay, a couple of frequently asked questions. One of the questions that we get from time to time, even after covering this content, is can users log into GMAP 1.0 and GinnieNet directly without going through MyGinnieMae? The answer here is please do not. For the next 90 days, as your organization administrators are setting up your accounts in MyGinnieMae, you will be able to access GMAP and GinnieNet directly with your old credentials. We encourage you to use MyGinnieMae as soon as you have been provided access to MyGinnieMae. You just access, once again, it's one username and one password to get you to all of the existing systems. So please do not continue to use your old credentials to log into legacy systems directly. Make sure that you are using your new credentials and logging in through MyGinnieMae to get to those systems. There will be a 90-day window after which time you will no longer have direct access to those systems. And that is the second frequently asked question. 90 days is the time frame for this wave. If you're an organization that is in wave 2 of MyGinnieMae onboarding, your direct access to legacy systems will be removed on June 3rd. So after that point in time, you will need to exclusively go through MyGinnieMae to access our legacy systems and modernized applications. Next slide. So here are a few resources to assist you in your journey. There are user manuals. For end users, there is the Getting Started user manual that tells you all of the basic information that you need to know about accessing the portal and some of the basic functions of the portal, including resetting passwords, registering for Oracle Mobile Authenticator. All of that information is in the Getting Started user manual located on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. There are some quick reference cards there for you, the training overviews, which are the slide deck presentations that we cover, including this one, available on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. They can be downloaded there or viewed online. The release and training schedule. If you have questions about additional training opportunities to attend one of these live trainings, there's information there on those live trainings. There's also information on a weekly listening session that we host on Thursdays at 2 p.m. on the days that we are not hosting training. So today there is not a Thursday session because we do have another end user training session at 2 o'clock this afternoon. But every other Thursday that we do not have a training session, we are hosting a live listening session where you can dial in and ask questions about the portal, hear some best practices, and get additional information. This will continue throughout the duration of MyGinnieMae onboarding. So if you have a question or you're just kind of wondering how people are managing or navigating some particular item that you're working on, you're welcome to dial in on Thursdays, and it is an open call for folks to talk amongst themselves and with us. We have technical experts on the line. So for the call details, please go to the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. You go to GinnieMae.gov and you hover over the Issuer tab. Underneath Issuer Training, you'll see Modernization. All of this information, including the dial-in instructions for those Thursday calls, are on the modernization page in the MyGinnieMae section of that of the website. If you have technical questions about accessing the portal, maybe you're an organization administrator that needs a registration invitation sent, or there are other technical issues, you can contact GinnieMae Customer Support, 1-833-GNMA-HELP. Or you can also email them at GinnieMae1@bnymellon.com. If you have general questions about training, the user materials, the release waves, that sort of stuff, you can send those inquiries to the Customer Experience Group at GinnieMae. We're at cxg@hud.gov, and we actively monitor that box to make sure that we're able to address your questions. So you're welcome to email cxg@hud.gov for general inquiries as well. We do have a poll that we would like for you to complete. Before we launch into our Q&A, we're going to launch that poll. So if you go to the chat box in the session, there's going to be a link there that Ian is posting for you right now. Please make sure that you complete the poll, and your feedback regarding these sessions makes it all the way up to our senior executives at GinnieMae. We take your feedback very seriously. It helps us to improve our deliveries, and we really do look forward to getting those results so that we know how to continue to do a better and better job. So please look for that link in the Zoom webinar chat. Complete the survey. It's open now. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and open it up for question and answer. There are several ways that you can engage with us via Q&A. The first one is, if you go down to the bottom of your screen, you have the opportunity, if you have joined your audio via the computer, you have the opportunity to raise your hand and let us know that you would like to ask a question that way. If you have dialed in over a phone line, you can hit *9, and that will let us know that you would like for your line to be unmuted so that we can you can ask your question over your phone line. You're also able to type questions into the Q&A at the bottom of the screen, and we're happy to answer questions through Q&A. If you would prefer to type them, you can ask them that way as well. So again, if you joined the audio via your computer, please raise your hand from the bottom of your screen. If you would like to ask a question on the phone line, please hit *9. And if you'd like to type your question, please type that into the Q&A. Ian, do we have any questions?
Nothing from the lines. We have a question in the QA section about people with more than one issuer assigned to them.
Thank you, Ian. Okay, so the question is, can I access more than one issuer with the same email address? And the answer is yes. They're long gone are the days where you need different accounts with different email addresses for different issuer IDs and different type of account access. It is really one username, one password for all of the information and systems that you need to access in MyGinnieMae. If you are a sub-servicer or an issuer that needs access to multiple issuer IDs, all of that access will be provided using that one username and password. If you are an administrator in our systems, an org admin, and you are also an end user, you are provided all the access that you need using that one email address, one username, one password. So again, an organization administrator is a privileged role that allows you to manage account access for end users in your organization. If you are an organization administrator that also requires access to business applications because you are also an end user that completes pooling or reporting activities on behalf of your organization, you may have a functional role assigned to you. The caveat here is only org admins at your organization can request and approve that functional role. So in order for an org admin to be an end user, it requires 2 other org admins to request and approve a functional role for you as an org admin. You cannot manage your own account access, and the operations admin on behalf at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae cannot provide end user access for you. If you are an org admin that also needs to navigate as an end user, you will need 2 other org admins to request and approve a functional role or functional roles for you. And do we have any other questions on the line?
Yeah, we got Jean raised her hand. So Jean, you're good. You can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Jean, are you there? If you look at the bottom left hand of your screen, please make sure that your phone line is unmuted so that we can hear you.
Yeah. Also, if your audio is coming through phone, use *9 there. So you can raise your hand again if you're able to unmute yourself, and we can go from there. But
so we do have a question that came in. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jean. Jean said her question was answered. Thank you. So we do have another question that came in on the chat about timeout. There is a federal security requirement that the portal, that all systems have a timer on them, and that is a 20-minute timer. So, yes, there is a timer or a timeout for inactivity on MyGinnieMae. It is a 20-minute timer. You can know where you are at or extend your session by going up to the top right-hand part of the screen. You'll see where your, what we call avatar is. It's probably your initials, unless, you put your picture in there, which you're welcome to do. If you go up there and click on that, it opens up a box that'll show you a little, that'll show you the timer on your session. You can extend your session or see how much time is left in your session that way. But I will note that your activity in the portal, if you're clicking and navigating around the portal, does count as activity that will keep you logged into the session. But yes, there is a 20-minute timeout timer on MyGinnieMae. That is a federal security requirement. Any other questions?
Nope, not right now.
Okay. Again, we're going to hang on here for just another moment. *9, if you joined us on a phone line, *9 to let us know that you would like for your line to be unmuted so that you can ask us a question. If you've joined the audio via your computer, you can raise your hand from the bottom of your screen. But if you happen to be on a phone line, it's *9 to let us know that you would like to ask a question. And do we have any more questions on the line?
Nope, not at this time.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Hopefully that answered all the questions that you might have about what's going to happen here in the next few days. Your registration invitations as an end user will come from the organization administrators at your organization. Some of them are still establishing their account access, so please give them a few days before they begin to send out those invitations. But before you know it, you will be in the portal and life will be grand, okay? Thank you so much for your time.